What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Gaming Channel. My name is AJ Kells. How y'all doing? We're back once more with the weekly show. If you notice, I'm not whispering or whatever. My voice has finally, well, not 100% back, but I'd say it's at least 75. Hence why this video is up so late in the day. I'm doing this like 2 in the afternoon just because my voice is finally started to really come back. I just can't talk as forcefully as I usually do. But all in all, I'm mostly back from my voice standpoint. This week, we're going to be taking a really deep look at Spider-Man. There really wasn't a whole hell of a lot of news that fascinated me this week. I mean, there was the release date for Life is Strange 2, which is actually, I think, sometime in September. There's Bethesda suing Warner Brothers over a Westworld game that they say is basically a knockoff of Fallout Shelter. I mean, there were some other smaller things that I just don't think justified its own show. Excuse me. And all that, so, excuse me, I'm sorry. So I decided we're going to look at this video. This video is of the dev team behind Insomniac's Marvel Spider-Man. It's Brian Intihar and some other members of the dev team. They're going to sit and they're going to run through the stage presentation and then the demo that they show, that, you know, people got the hands-on demo. Then they're going to show us that and they're going to talk over it. So we're going to get more looks at like suit powers and crafting and et cetera, et cetera. So I think this is going to be a really interesting thing. I've seen about 10 minutes and I still find this absolutely fascinating. It's to hear their looks at this outside of like the quick snap presentation mode. So we really get a deep dive into this one. So I think that's about it, guys. Let's hop into this. Sorry, I'm just trying to. Come on. There we go. All right.
Hello, welcome to Insomniac Live, a very special E3 edition of Insomniac Live.
I'm going to turn that down a little bit.
We saw last week because we were all very busy at the Los Angeles Convention Center showing off Marvel Spider-Man. I've got a huge crew here today.
That's a little better. Sorry about that.
We're going to get right to it. We've got a ton of people in the chat. We know there's a lot to cover today and a lot you want to see. My name's James Stevens. I'm the community director at Insomniac Games. Sitting right here to my right.
How do you have this much energy? It's amazing.
Oh
my god.
I eat a lot of the sprinkle doodle cookies from Porto's that are sitting there. Brian Intihar, creative director on Marvel Spider-Man. Next to him, Ryan Smith, the game director on Marvel Spider-Man. At the end of the couch, John Paquette, lead writer.
Who was late because he was
making
making coffee.
Yeah, he had to make coffee. That is why.
I figures a writer would hold us up.
Yeah, you gotta have your coffee.
1,300 people watching right now. Also here, we have your one of your favorites, Swole Adam Corleone. That's what we call him. Yeah.
On the stream.
Combat. Everyone on the stream knows he's Swole Adam, and he's a combat designer on Marvel Spider-Man, and he'll be playing for us live as we go today. And yes, it's only 7:20 because we actually want this to stream at a reasonable rate. And in the back we got Corey Hoover, who is our video guru. And
I'm actually going to jump on that screen.
And we're going to make our chat work over on the other stream, and then we're going to show you. So first thing we're going to go through is we're going to rewatch the Showcase Raft video that you guys all saw. We're going to talk over that and discuss some of the things. Then we're going to play some live gameplay of the show floor demo, and we can talk through that and give you some of our thoughts. I also saw someone said, "Where's Jacinda? She's on vacation this week. Otherwise, she would have been here." But
she's on a pretty cool vacation because I saw pictures from it. I was
Where is she?
She's I don't know what she wants to say, but she's somewhere really warm with a lot of fruity drinks
by herself, I think.
And
sorry, I'm just.
So guys, you can watch off this laptop. Sorry, we're getting our secondary.
Sorry about that. I just thought it would be better to skip to the actual stuff.
So if you guys were this is crazy. Monday night PlayStation Showcase.
yeah.
The raft is secure, but I can't reach them over radio. They're calling
Yeah, you get to actually watch it. We had to rush Brian out to do because Brian and Adam did live gameplay.
Already here.
So were the
Yuri, I thought you said it was.
They didn't get to see the super wide
so we
version.
did this like this. So we did.
Maybe it's not as bad as.
So there's not much I can do for like the first like couple minutes. They try and get the balance between their sound and the gameplay. So it's going to be a little hard to hear them for a little bit. So nothing I can do about that. Sorry.
Oh my gosh,
Love the optimism.
be able to
But
do,
in
like,
my
this super
experience,
huge
when it
widescreen
looks
version
bad,
so you can see the bridge.
it's
you can see
usually
New
worse.
York.
Look out!
And it was awesome.
Yuri!
It was super, super
I'm slipping!
No, Jeremy, can you turn down the game audio
Hold
just
on!
a hair? The game is so loud they can't hear us.
the talk was, we're going to show more villains, and there were people hoping for one more villain, so we decided to.
You okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone, I kept asking people, I was like, what do you hope to see?
Welcome to the party.
Hopefully you show
Just in time with a firework.
And you guys got a ton of new ones. Thanks for everyone yelling at us with the audio.
Looks like we made parole, boys. Electro. Why is he letting everyone out?
I'll head for the
Got
main
it.
control center and see
Still
how
too
that
loud.
situation.
Yeah, it's the audio from
Got
the
it.
video, not the game.
I'll go join the party.
Still too loud.
Should we pause the
Try
video?
to put it at like 50 or something. That's better.
I didn't catch that electrical box.
Okay, better, perfect. Okay, there we go. So, first things first, combat.
Yeah.
This sequence shows off, first thing, aerial combo. Second thing, immediately using the environment against someone.
Yeah,
and
you want to
then,
make sure to get the environment in there. And you see, like, it's an actual electrical box that you're pulling off, and that spreads the electricity to the enemy. So you should see that in that first shot.
and you've got all these guys wearing, like, these collar things. This is part of the raft.
Yeah,
right?
so
being-
they're like basically, think of them in Lockdown. If you guys ever seen the movie Face Off, where they're wearing those metallic boots that would lock them down, like this is kind of the equivalent of that. And then when Electro, shorts it out, it kind of unlocks them to go do what they want to do.
Yeah, that wall dodge where he dodges off the wall and bowls over a bunch of guys with the punch is like such an awesome thing.
And just so you know, that move that he does, it's called the Web Blossom. That's a suit power, and that's an example of a suit. Like, actually, the Web Blossom doesn't come with the advanced suit that he's wearing right now, because you can mix and match your different suit powers.
Yeah.
Okay, so the thing I want to mention is,
Okay, so that's one of the first really interesting things they showed. I mean, we got like in that first little chunk of combat. You saw the flow between aerial combat and ground combat, and throwing that box. I'm not sure if anybody caught him. He was pretty quick. He basically like uppercutted a guy in the air, kind of jumped up and kicked him, and he flew back into hit a wall. But it wasn't like he just hit a wall and like fell out of the cell. Like he went into the cell. Like, I think for a lot of games like that, inside the cell would just be rendered. It would just, how to put it, it wouldn't look that natural, flying and hitting that wall and sliding back there. I just thought that was just a nice little detail. I think most games, they would have just had him hit a wall on either side, but he actually slides into that cell. and the ragdoll just looks real. It doesn't look like he's full of sand. Excuse me, sorry. And then, you saw him dodge under the guy's leg, push off the wall. It's just, I really appreciate the flow, and it looks like a lot of work went into the melee combat to really push that sense of being Spider-Man. I think that's the biggest thing that we want, or I want, at least. Maybe I'm pushing my wants on other people, but I'm pretty sure this is what everybody wants. We want to feel like Spider-Man. We want this to feel as natural and free-flowing as humanly possible. And I really think that's what Insomniac's been going for in this, from everything I've seen. But right there, they just mentioned that the suit powers that you can mix and match. My curiosity comes from, how exactly do you do that? How do you mix it? How do you mix and match your suit powers? Does it, am I like wearing a mask from, are the pieces of the suit different? Like, am I wearing a mask from one suit but the body of another suit? Or is it something to do with the crafting? That's an interesting fact. I'm just curious of the logistics behind that.
I watched a lot of reaction videos over the weekend, and I know that when we were making this, there was concern with whether people would get whether this was a Sinister Six or not. And we were like, well, what's it going to be? Should we name them all, count them? Well, 98% of people, as soon as they see Rhino, the next words out of their mouth were, "Oh, it's Sinister Six." So thank you for being very smart viewers.
Yeah, we appreciate all
Where's
that.
my mouse?
People are asking. There aren't any guards.
Yeah, I missed the whole that it's the Sinister Six thing. I can't believe I missed that. I feel bad about myself.
In the raft. Well, the guards.
Because the guards have been beat the crap of. Prisoners got out, man.
Yeah, the prisoners have escaped. So the guards are kind of like
How do you think they
can't
have that
fight all-
shield and all this, the batons and everything?
Nope.
They took it from them.
Nope. They
Does
got
anyone
it.
else think this kind of looks like Arkham?
This is just a part of this entire mission.
Yeah, there's a whole
so-
first half of it that it's happened before this. That's tied to maybe something called Breakers that you'll see.
And
you'll have more time with the actual police.
People have asked a bunch. That pose where he's hanging upside down from the web, you can actually do that in game on ceilings and stuff. You can hang upside down from the ceiling and use your webs. But that's a question I saw a bunch of. So this is all like flows right in. This is gameplay. Like we're literally diving. We jumped out of that. That was no like cinematic.
I just kind of like running through some of the moves that we're seeing here. It's been confirmed that in this game, when you web swing, it is an anchor point. Like find something in the real world to latch onto and kind of use you as a pendulum for swinging. I mean, because some Spider-Man games, he just shoots up and catches randomly in the air. Some, if you played the Spider-Man 2 video game, like the movie video game, it has to latch onto something, and then you end up just slamming into walls. And that time where you have to swing out over the ocean, and you had to connect with these drones, and that was just really hard, and I didn't like it, mostly because I suck. But if you notice this, when he was swinging, he went and did that wall run. He's using the web zip. I mean, some of this I think might be a little advanced just for starting out. But the wall run from made me remember something, and I'm trying to remember when this was. I think this was when Game Informer was doing their month of coverage over Spider-Man. It's I believe it was Intihar who basically said, we don't want momentum to stop. So say you're swinging at a wall, it doesn't like you just crashing the wall and stop. You hit the wall, but he'll start running up the wall, or he'll wall run, or he'll do something to always kind of keep you pushing forward in some way, shape, or form. So I think that if we don't have to worry about that, we can focus more on these combos and these web zips and this swinging. So I'm really hoping that this is one of the most natural swinging that we've ever had in a Spider-Man game.
That was just all gameplay.
Yeah, it's not linear. So I've heard that 1,000 times. It's not linear. The path we're going is one of the paths you can go to chase him down.
You can wall run on the left side. You can bounce
totally
off
skip
of
that
stuff.
interact right there that you did. You can totally skip that.
Yeah, you see the rain falling through. You can fall down into the water if you're not playing it well enough.
Yo.
And then eventually catch up Electro and Vulture shows up because, it said 3 wasn't enough, so we had 4.
Yeah,
Vulture. So
right
the funny thing is that line Vulture didn't play for like 3 days, and every day we would review this, and I would just go, "What is he gonna say? Vulture!"
Yeah,
and,
we needed it.
We needed it because that was annoying the whole time.
Someone asked if we can show the full collector's edition, and the answer is no.
No.
It's a spoiler. It'll even say in the box, "Don't look at this till you've played far enough in the game."
Well, that Vulture thing is actually something that I think is important that people know, because not everybody knows the names of all these characters, so we wanted to make sure that during this video we at least said their name out loud for the people that don't know who Vulture is, or because there are people out there. I know there's very few of them, but there are.
Someone asked, they said there's a lot of costumes. Do you have to unlock them and then craft them, or do you just craft them whenever you want? So you unlock, they're available, at different times?
Yeah,
and then you can craft.
Different levels give you access to different ones you can craft.
Yeah, as you gain experience in the game, you level up, and that gives you access to certain suits, and then you can use other resources basically from the side content, optional content in the world to craft those.
Okay, so that's kind of an answer to something that I've been wondering, like exactly how crafting is going to work. I was wondering, is it going to be like a level unlock system, or is it going to, or gaining experience points or whatever to unlock something, or are they going to unlock through doing just optional activities and then bam, it unlocks, or something kind of like what Red Dead did with the different outfits? Is it going to be entirely based on components that you find in the world, and if so, what components, what are the components that you need to find out in the world, and yada yada yada. But apparently now hearing this, I think it's going to be a combination. From what they're saying, it's going to be a combination of a few different ones of those. It's going to be sort of components, sort of where you are in the game, sort of level system. So that's interesting.
You guys have a favorite suit
that you can talk about?
No, I don't know what I can talk about.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the Iron Spider suit's pretty damn awesome, but I can't wait people to see the suit power.
I think people can guess.
Yeah, but I would say I really like what the guys did with it. So
I've been changing suits a few times here and there.
I'll tell you, that's the I think what was really good the designers decided to do was to tie the crafting with all the different activities in the world. So you'd be like, I want this suit. I need one more base token or whatever, and you'll go do it. I think it's a really good kind of loop to get you to explore the city more.
Now, it's interesting Mr. Negative arrives on a helicopter here.
Yeah, he does.
Interesting. Worth pointing out. Not a lot of people discussed that, but I just wanted to flag that helicopter. And, but obviously there's a sixth character that they are referring to that isn't up here.
Aunt May.
Yeah.
I think
My favorite is Aunt May, Corrupted Iron Man, and Jackal. Those are my 3 favorite guesses.
Yeah, those are all really fun guesses.
Yes.
Okay, so one of the questions, we're about to go to the open world demo, and I keep seeing everyone saying demo. We're not releasing this demo on PlayStation Network.
No.
It's intended for events only.
No.
It will be at events throughout the summer, so...
But let's explain, why. I think the question is, well, why? It's easy. I think what people don't, just not don't understand, but it's a very different beast of putting something up on PSN
Yep.
than it is
having a file we can install on a few kits in a few locations.
And we...
Okay, that's interesting. I didn't catch that in the trailer, mainly because I wasn't looking for the Sinister Six. Sorry, I paused kind of mid-sentence, but I wasn't looking for the Sinister Six, and I didn't think about who the hell this last person's gonna be. I mean, traditionally, I'm trying to think who's the Sinister Six traditionally. What? It's Rhino, Scorpion, Vulture, Electro. Isn't it Doc Ock and Mysterio? I think that's what it was. I can't remember. I'm mostly sure Doc Ock is part of the Sinister Six, and I'm going back and forth. I'm 50% that's Mysterio. I can't fully remember. I'm sorry. I haven't really read or watched a Spider-Man thing in a long time. But yeah, I like those guesses. Corrupt Iron Man. I want to know why Aunt May was a guess. I guess it would be interesting. I don't know how you'd swing that. I highly doubt that's what it was. I'm really curious to see what that is. My guess would be Doc Ock, but the reaction doesn't make sense. Where he's like, "What, you?" Like he was betrayed. Oh man, I'm gonna take kind of a weird. I'm gonna make a weird sort of prediction. Okay, I have 2 guesses. One that's actually serious, and one that's kind of it could also be this, but I doubt it. We know Mary Jane Watson is a playable character in this game in some way, shape, or form. Maybe her, but I highly doubt that one. That's just, again, maybe me being kind of a guess. But like I said, I know she's a playable character in this game in some way, shape, or form. We just haven't seen her gameplay. The one I think is more likely than that is my honest to God prediction. Miles Morales. We know he's confirmed to be in the game. I don't know why I'm having this. Oh, it would be really cool if we kind of have a Batman Robin thing where he finds out that Peter's Spider-Man something throughout the game, and then something happens and he goes evil or joins the villains or in some way, shape, or form. Again, I think it would be an interesting twist. So I'm feeling that it's going to be like a good guy switching sides or somebody from Peter's life, and I'm just thinking of the characters that we know are in his life, and that's one of them. Maybe Black Cat, but that one doesn't really make sense without completely overhauling her character. So granted, doing that with Aunt May, Mary Jane, or Miles Morales would also be a total overhaul in their character. But you know what I mean? It kind of breaks the mystique of Black Cat, where she's always kind of that neutral character. I don't know. There's a few that it could be.
You definitely know.
Sorry, I just nerded out there for a second.
Hands on it and get But then if something happens or there's confusion, we have people there. We had myself, Ryan, John, you, and Ryan Schneider at the Europe and the America booth. We had people on the show floor. It's just very different. It's a whole cert process, and we just had to pick and choose. And the number one thing is get the game done on September 7th at the highest quality possible, and that's just kind of the of course, it'd be great to have a demo, but in the day we have to pick and choose our battles here.
Yep, it's like I said, it's very different what you put something out for actual wide release versus something we can just install in a few places.
Yeah.
So
And it won't be long until the full game.
yes,
Yeah.
the game is out in less than 3 months. So
Yeah.
oh my God, the game's out in less than 3 months.
Oh my
Everybody
God!
gotta finish. Oh
Okay,
my God.
I'll see you guys later. I'm gonna go.
Scares me.
All right, so we're going to switch over to the demo, and we're going to have some play. So I'll make sure that Jeremy gets to switch over and the audio's good. Because I want to start on this screen. So just make
The guy's sitting there on his cell phone.
are the crafting materials. So this is. Oh, I lost the name. Someone said are the crafting materials something that you, or I don't know. You collect them from all the different things you do. How's that?
Yeah,
Okay.
they come from the different sides. It's an optional
My
content.
buddy Joe just goes, "You guys have so many snacks." Yes, we do have a lot of snacks.
Yeah.
Why do you think I'm so fat right now?
Yeah, we need sugar to keep me going.
God.
All right. Yeah, you see that wall run? That's what I'm talking about, where it keeps the momentum going.
What was important for you guys about having this? A nice dive right into a swing, pick up all that speed.
For you, Yuri? Anything.
I think
I'm on my
number
way.
one was get people's hands on swinging. That's probably the number one question we get asked is how does swinging feel, and we want to put it in people's hands. And I think the big thing for us was to take our experience we have with Sunset, apply it to Spider-Man, and really make you feel like a pretty awesome superhero right away, but also make you feel like a greater one over time. So obviously what you're seeing is Adam really good at the game, both in first and combat. But one of the reasons why I was really happy we did the raft demo and the open world demo was we really wanted to show people like this. If you get really good at the game, that's how awesome you can make combat look and feel. But at the same time, we wanted people to have that. There's a pick up and play nature to it, and you feel pretty powerful and pretty cool right away. But there is a level of mastery to things, and even just this weekend, I was playing the game and discovering new things I could do, which was really cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed watching people play the open world demo
That guy's spine just snapped.
pretty well, but then when they got to Shocker at the end of it, a lot of people struggled, which I think, at first I was like, oh man, do we need to nerf this? But then it's like, no, there's challenging parts to the game,
All right, wait, was Shocker part of the Sinister Six? I don't remember that. I love Shocker. He's one of my more favorite Spider-Man villains, but I'm just glad that no matter what, I'm glad I got confirmation that he's probably in this game in some way, shape, or form.
There was one person playing in the Europe area. It was on the first day, and the person was so good that I wondered if they worked at Insomniac. Like I had to look over and
Everyone
see if
gets
they
a
worked at
participation.
They're letting anybody back in that Europe area,
It was
so it's
really,
possible.
It was really good.
what's
They
happening
were
out in the
really,
city.
really good. So it was really exciting to see people. I was really excited how easy people picked up swinging, and at the same time, really able to explore and try different new things with combat.
Okay, I want to check something next time we get. Sorry, I'm talking over them.
Yeah, there's a lot to learn in just 15-minute demo, right? So
Yeah.
a lot of stuff. But people were doing really cool things. At the fifth space when they get there,
Yeah.
doing all the moves.
FSU Wolf said, do I have to manually reload web cartridges?
No,
No.
you don't want
I
to.
think I figured out
Yeah,
how
we don't want to slow you down on that. Now they do, it recharges over time.
Yeah,
in
the
certain
web
circumstances.
shooters recharge over time.
No, it's one
And
of his
then the
legitimate
other
businesses.
gadgets.
Multiple
require
investors.
you-
We can't act without cause.
That was actually what I was gonna. That's actually exactly what I was gonna bring up. Was I did notice this when we saw the demo at E3 was that we do have a web shooter, like a meter. So I guess we're limited in the amount of like web power or whatever you want to call it that we can use in combat. I like I said, I did not catch that first time around this.
So the key for this demo is just to let people kind of loose in the open world.
Well, yeah, I mean the thing
Is
I
that
kept,
a rat?
Yeah, the thing I kept
Oh,
hearing.
no, it's a squirrel. Okay, I was like, that was a
Squirrel.
big rat.
Squirrel.
Really, not much difference.
I think the thing.
I love how the people in the street aren't just going, "Holy shit, that's Spider-Man just walking around and crawling on the side of this wall." Then they see him climbing up. What the hell's that backpack doing?
That I was so surprised to hear was that people were like, "Is it really open world?" And I was like, "Yeah, we'd be the dumbest people in the world to make it not an open world game." So it was kind of proving yes, it's open world. I mean, the area of New York we're showing is just a small portion of the actual playable area. So
Yeah.
I like we a lot of the time we do that view from the top of the Empire State Building. It's pretty damn awesome.
Yeah, someone said go to Avengers Tower. You can't actually go to Avengers Tower in this build. You can see it. We'll go up on the Empire State Building at some point here and check that out.
So one thing I wanted to point out here, which I was able to do a couple times at E3, was like, so you can just go in like webs blazing, you want to just rip these guys apart. But you can also like kind of stealth your way through the first few.
Oh, look, there it is. See, there's the web hang. Everyone's been asking.
There you go.
There you go. Your web hanging from the ceiling. I don't think anyone has seen this before. We've never shown that.
So like,
and there's the web mine that he was on his back.
All right, I mean, you saw that web mine, the way that worked with aiming and shooting that thing. That was spot on Ratchet and Clank. I mean that was dead on for Ratchet and Clank, which again this is something that I think was so great that Insomniac. I never thought about that until recently. I think I mentioned this when covering this stuff at E3, but I never thought about how cool all the Spider-Man gadgets are going to be coming from a studio like Insomniac that have the experience with stuff like Ratchet and Clank and Sunset Overdrive, two of the games that I think had some of the best, most creative gadgets and guns and weapons and everything. So I have a feeling that they're going to take the things that we typically know for Spider-Man, but also come up with a lot more. I'm not going to say like out and out like wacky stuff, but I think they're going to come up with some really cool ideas of how to use webs and how to make it flow with not only combat but also stealth in a way.
Get trapped into the wall.
And that you can like stealth your way through kind of thin the herd, but the thing is they'll start getting like. Reinforcement will start radioing, going, basically getting a check, and then as you start thinning out, they'll start coming and going, what the heck's going on here? So you can kind of make the first wave of guys much easier if you kind of go stealthy, and then sometimes you'll have bonus objectives for actually doing it stealth-like, and ties into crafting and courtesy. Each bonus objectives give you more
tokens, right?
More tokens,
right.
which
So,
you can use for crafting.
Yeah, so like when you're doing crimes, you're always like trying to keep in mind what the objectives are because like it lets you make the crime worth 2 or 3 times as much to do it. So it actually incentivizes you to play the game differently too because it's like you may do the same moves, but it's like, oh, if I want this crime to give me 3 times as many resources, I need to do these things the game is asking me to do. It's super, super cool. Oh.
See, I think that was something that's also really important for this game because again, from previous Spider-Man games, it's like, oh, you can go stop this hijacking, go stop this and this, and it's just the same mini game over and over and over and over and over again, or it's a save people from this burning building. From what I remember from again the Game Informer thing, that this game is still going to push this idea that each one is a little different. There could be you'd be stopping like a store robbery and that leads to a car chase, or you could be stopping this and it will lead to this. Like they combine them in different ways. I mean, there's still similar activities, but they combine them in different ways. It's a little bit more dynamic. It's not always the same thing over and over again. Also, I want to bring this up to anybody thinking that this combat looks again. Please remember that this is the combat director playing this. So when I play this in September, it won't be this good.
Oh,
you know what's funny?
Always getting hit by this.
Elements of the UI have already changed a little bit. That's built like the enemy awareness.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, so wait, go out. Let's see. Can you go see? Let's
All right.
go see. That guy is safe. He did not die. He should be right down here, web to the side of the building. There he is. Look, there he is.
Okay.
Did you see him? He's right there.
Go. Crawl
go
up.
Up. Go up.
All right.
Go up.
So remember, I really went back in your word. No, he didn't.
No, he's right there. He's webbed in the building.
There.
Okay,
and now
let's go back.
He's clipping through it, but we'll fix that before ship. But he is. I checked like 5 times over the weekend to make sure that they were actually sticking inside the building.
Yeah, they always stick to the side of the building. Yeah.
I think Ryan even came to me early and he's like, we're just gonna release a video without doing it right. I'm like,
We have to get out there.
We have to show it. Yes.
Yeah. Because Adam has a propensity to throw
Yeah,
people
like
off the building.
of course. We come out of the press conference, and the first thing Adam does is kick 3 of the guys over
off the building. It was just like
when everybody's watching.
And he's all like, "Oh, there was glare on the screen because the sun was setting." It was like, "Dude, you're a pro player. Let's do this. Come on."
Yeah. So I mean, it's brutal. Like,
Okay. Look what happened. That guy's spine is shattered. He's dead. It's just like some of those guys that we saw him fighting in the prison. You're looking at those going, that guy is dead. It's like the Arkham games where you're riding around in the tank running over people, going full speed. Oh, well, no, it has this weird shocking thing where they just fall to the side unconscious. Oh, we're going to shoot this giant cannon at people. Oh, but it's using like not real bullets. It's using like basically like rubber bullets. I'm like, yeah, that guy's dead. We just snapped his spine.
God, great showing, and then I come back to work and everyone's like, hey, good job killing everyone.
Yeah, people want to see more tripwire stuff, it looks like.
One of my favorite things to do is, like, you have a guy, if a guy running at you, then go into aim mode, point it on the ground, and he'll just run over. Oh, you're gonna kick him up, you're gonna punch him up in there. Oh, God, come here, bud. Come on. Punch him, come on.
He just died.
So that guy's dead.
Okay.
Oh, yeah! Alright.
So you actually, and then you can also like point it in the wall and they'll run at you and they'll step over it, which is kind of cool.
And you can like stick it on the enemy and then spin him around with your weapon and it'll stick out to the side.
Oh, there you got both of them.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, again, this is something else that I think is going to be really cool about the powers, or about the gadgets and everything. Excuse me. I don't think they're only going to come up with some cool ideas. I think they're going to, from everything I've seen of this game, each power has multiple ways to use it. Like he plastered it high on that wall, punched him up. You could have it just be like a normal tripwire. So you can get people running at you and then get tripwired. You can tripwire people together. There's so many cool things like that I also think is going to be just absolutely fascinating to watch. And I forgot my other comment. I had something else and it's gone.
You yanked him to pull it. Oh, rocket!
Oh, okay, so I will give one little tidbit. You can upgrade eventually and web up rockets off the ridge.
You can
And
toss them.
then you toss them
you
back.
throw the
And
rockets back.
and it's all like webbed up, so it's not like we're killing people again.
Yeah, because it's like a webbed rocket now, so it's
pretty cool.
Yeah.
I was actually doing that over the weekend. It was really fun.
Yeah, Spider-Man's webs turned into.
It's one of the later upgrades.
What's the difference between? So here's a question I'd love for you guys. We get this a lot because what do you guys see the difference between this and Arkham? Because people like see a superhero punching guys and they
one guy wears a cape. One guy. No, I mean.
That was my other comment. Was this is Arkham Spider-Man? It's what a lot of people have been saying. Which I'm willing to. I don't want to necessarily speak for Intihar. But I have a really, I mean, that's the vibe I've been getting for this, and that is nowhere near, a bad thing. I think this is it looks very well done. It looks very different from Batman in so many ways. It's just the combat still looks like tight and flowy, like the Arkham games, and I can't help but say that's a good thing.
But I think there's like a lot of ways.
I think it's a lot of ways. First of all, like obviously Spider-Man is much more acrobatic. Gets off the ground, like one thing off the ground, definitely on the ground. All the way from ways he uses webs. I mean, I would say we probably use the environment more, like rather than being specifically like I think in Arkham Knight, you had to be like very close near environment interaction, whereas we kind of let you pull and prod and.
Place is locked down, Captain.
So I think it's I kind of say like we bring elements of like Arkham, which yes we play a lot of Arkham. Devil May Cry.
Yeah, there's a lot of aerial. There's all the webs.
Spider-Man,
all the gadgets.
Air and webs are what makes Spider-Man Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Right?
And then also like another thing, the gadgets and the gadgets and the suit powers, to me make it feel like an Insomniac game.
I think are crafting materials all the same? No, there's different crafting materials for different objectives. So like crimes, bases, research stations.
So essentially, what happens is each like they're just called tokens, and like it's like a crime token, a base token, research station token. Like, and a suit requires different types of like you could require X amount of this, X amount of that, and then you can craft it. And then you have to be a certain level. Like you have to be like 5, 10, 15 in your experience.
All right, there we go. There's the. See, I've also been. That was something else I was curious about. Like, what when they say that we're crafting and using components, I'm like, are we finding like little bits of scrap or something out in the world? Like, how does that work? So okay, so it's a token system, and like when he was clearing those base, like we have the optional objectives. I'm not sure if that's hey, here's an extra token, or here's something more than just what you just got. We're gonna give you a little bit more than this, that, the other thing, and again, it's also based on level and where you are in the game. Okay, so that's there's a little bit of an answer to my question.
Because basically what you would do is...
Sorry, I basically just repeated what he said.
XP that gives you upgrade your level, which you're a skill point, unlock new abilities, and then we have crafting, which lets you craft suits, which most suits come with suit powers. Crafting suit mods, which you can actually, I think you can apply up to 3 of them at a time, and then craft new gadgets and suit. We gotta fix that collision.
There's an airplane up there.
Gadget upgrades. Sorry, I hate when I get distracted by bugs.
Okay, so here we are.
Right.
Some people were saying, how big is the map size?
It's huge.
It's gigantic.
It's several times larger than what we made for Sunset, because it had to be, because of how fast Spider-Man moves compared to our character in Sunset. I think it's... I was talking to our lead
You see
programmer.
Central Park, you saw Avengers
Central
Tower.
Park is huge in this game.
Yeah, and this is the northern... This is looking north up Manhattan, so our shape's a little different, but...
And there's things to do in Central Park, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah.
Like what?
And then we look over, and you got
There's
the
Raft.
Chrysler
That was
building.
Raft.
There's the Raft. It was funny because we deleted that from the Game Informer demo, and Reiner was like... one of the first things Reiner did when he was playing after E3, he ran up there and he looked over, he's like, you guys deleted the Rikers and Raft from your demo when you showed us, and I was like, of course we did. Couldn't have you writing about that.
And one thing I think is really cool is the artists have done a really good job of, even like this view, you're seeing the size of it. When you go down to different, like Chinatown, Financial District, Hell's Kitchen, Harlem, every district has a kind of unique look and feel to it. So I definitely it's just fun to swing around and see the different cities.
Yeah, I think the artists really killed it, and there's like a map that they keep updated, and every district has like its own like name. That's the same name that I think they have in the real world.
Do the one with the puzzle.
Okay, you know what? I gotta tip my cap to these guys, because holy, like not just the web slinging doesn't just look like it flows between I'm gonna swing, and now I'm gonna web zip, and now I'm gonna run on a wall, and I'm gonna run up a wall, now I'm gonna do this, that, the other thing. It's not just that stuff that looks like it flows really well. It's the animations of Spider-Man while he's, like, you see him, like, he's doing these spins and these flips while he's swinging and everything. I mean, just the technological difficulty that goes into something like this, I have to give them massive credit. I mean, I always say this. Look, I don't know shit about how games are made. I mean, and by that I mean like I have a basic concept, but I mean, like, I don't know, like, the technical process behind. It was something that Brian Altano of IGN once said, is like, I can tell you to make the graphics better, but I have no, like, comprehension of how that works. Like that's kind of how I am. I can say these things, but I don't know how that concept works, how fixing bugs works. The technical mastery of making video games is already, like, super high, but to do something like this, and like what I think, like, this game is going to require, and at this level, and at what Insomniac does, I'm not trying to sit here and kiss someone's ass, because I'm not. This is not paid promotion or anything. This is just my honest to God opinion. It's just it impresses me that this is a creative endeavor that somebody is releasing to the public, and just absolutely amazing.
Okay, yeah.
Dude, because I we've shown a lot of combat. I think it's on the northern side. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, I'm sorry. I thought you were...
Scroll back out. Zoom out if you can real quick.
Yeah.
I just want to show people. So here's the whole map. And you can see where we are
So
there,
that's
all the way down. So the blue area is the demo. In this demo, show floor demo, that was the playable space. And then scroll up. Let's see the whole. And there's the whole upper side of the map. Yeah. So that's what the map looks like for all of you wondering at home.
How big it is.
Yeah.
That's a decent map.
Now we're going to do this research station. So do you want to explain the research stations a little bit?
So research stations are run by Harry Osborn. Harry is Pete's best friend. And at the time the game starts, Harry's actually out of town in Europe. And he's left Pete a voicemail going, hey, bud, basically, John, you know if I'm right about this.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm out of town, but I know you're a really smart guy. If you get a chance, could you check into these for me, make sure they're running right. These research stations were something I picked up after my mom passed away. And it's really important to me that they're working right. So each one has a little basic objective. But what Harry doesn't know is that Pete's Spider-Man, and that he's going to complete them being Spider-Man. So some of them require traversal, not really any combat.
Yeah, a lot of emphasize all the other aspects of Spider-Man.
I'm just going to let the game director
Swinging.
figure it out.
The only way to figure out what's going on is
So don't hit me. My back is still sore. Don't make me move.
I got other problems.
Ivan Stig
Samplers
said,
detecting toxic
"Oh,
particles.
is there a
Better
photo
check it
mode?
out.
Yes, there'll be a photo
Yes,
mode when
there's
the game
photo
launches. It's not.
Why
in this
is that a
demo.
question?
You can't take a selfie or do anything like that.
Steam vent's a good place to start.
So there you go. Someone says Harry is hot.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right, Intihar.
So here's one of the things
doesn't
you'll
belong.
see.
Oh, this is interesting.
This in the game where you have to use Pete's scientific abilities,
Yeah.
and this is not the only type of puzzle you'll see during the course of the
Yeah.
game too.
No, there's more.
They get harder.
Mercury.
But yeah, the
Bonded
basic
with
theme of all the research stations is
something
they're,
else.
they're science-based
I can't tell
and,
what.
and you know environmentally based, environmentally themed, because that's what Harry's mom is really
obviously
into
isn't
is
confined to
saving
one
the
building.
environment. So
A lot
they
of
all
people
have,
are at risk.
You know, kind of a different spin on stuff that can happen around the city.
What if you're too high up and your webbing doesn't stick? If there's nowhere for a web to stick to, you fall.
Yeah, then you fall.
You have to have a point for your webbing to attach to when you swing.
Let's see what a sample from this can tell me.
So this is where it gets a little more complicated.
Okay, so it combines them. Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, you have to overlap them. Yeah, it requires some thicker.
Okay.
Thicker. Extra.
Swoller.
Swole. Some
More
swoller.
like Adam.
more
Maybe
swole.
more like Adam.
Well, they show Peter's
I'm on the right
department.
track.
I think you mean apartment. Not in this demo, but you will see Peter's apartment in the
Widespread
game. In fact, we start the game in his
The whole
apartment.
neighborhood's in danger
On
from
my
this.
walk over there, I saw someone ask to see some civilian interactions.
Please, don't ask me to do the hand.
Look.
Oh, that's the outline of the pipe.
Yeah, that's the pipe outline.
Saying hi to everybody in the street. Like, nobody's just, like, freaking the fuck out. Or looking at that going, what the hell?
Yeah. I would just go Adam.
Oh, the finger guns, yeah.
Here's a dude and just a bunch of in a costume running around the city. That's
A Fisk construction site polluting the city? No way. Someone asked about the collector's
to high
edition. It
heaven.
is basically sold out in
Find out
terms
what's
of
in it.
pre-orders everywhere. I don't expect you'll see it anywhere else.
So this is one where you have
Oh,
to
yeah, now you have negative ones.
oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, just quick little puzzles that we have just to vary things up.
Is there a sprint boost button and a charge jump?
Why is this
So
sounding so
sprint, you
familiar?
definitely can sprint. That's the R2 button when you're
Yeah.
on the ground. That'll also cause you to parkour or
Nitrogen
wall
and
run. So when he's pressing
Gotta
R2
get
or
back on the
you
trail.
start running like just
When
like
this is
right
over,
now, and you're
I'll alert the health
parkouring over all the
department so they can check
environment.
on the local residents.
And in terms of other abilities that you may unlock over the course
Like
of
a
the
charge
game,
jump?
like a charge jump,
That'd be cool.
that would be sweet, wouldn't it?
Wink, wink. Excuse me, jeez.
Caustic chemicals are leaking out of those barrels and into the plumbing. Need to clean up the site
That's
fast.
healthy.
Yeah, that's
super-
good.
super
That's
helpful.
good.
The calcium and silicon in concrete makes it an
You
ideal
know, I have
absorption
not played
material.
this mission since it got all polished
Looks
up
like
for
I'll
this
have to
demo.
make a
That was
mess
real
to
nice.
fix this mess.
This is kind of just a little test.
Nice, it's working.
Staying in the air.
Breathing this
Oh, and
stuff
using
in.
your
Yeah,
environment while
you
you're
start
there.
to take damage if you
one.
don't.
Oh yeah, you can see the damage is kicking in right now. Yeah, I hadn't seen this. This is cool.
Yeah.
I actually have not
Yeah,
seen
Great
this.
with
Look it
webbing
up
should
and
stop
boom,
any
done.
residual drainage.
It's also another great spot to see the city.
That could have been way worse. Harry's research station just proved
That out
why
of
it
you
needs to stay
depoison
open.
the city.
How many
Save New York.
suits are there in the game? A
Lots.
lot. A lot of suits. We've only announced 6 suits, I believe. The advanced suit, the classic suit, the punk suit, Noir,
Iron Spider.
Iron Spider, and the homemade suit.
Spider-Man. Shocker has
That
escaped,
is
and
not.
now
That's
he's
just
robbing a bank on
a
East
small
31st.
amount of them.
What happened?
We
Thought
can't
you
change it
fine
this
boss.
demo just because we
He
didn't
was,
want to.
but one of the
make it-
guards
we
just
didn't
walked
have
up
to
to
add
his
a
cell
whole
and
bunch.
Didn't they also have what is it? The Amazing Bagman?
I mean, we do have that screen in the game. We don't want to make it.
What did you get out of the guard?
Was that the homemade suit? It was the one with wears a paper bag over his head. Isn't that the Amazing Bagman? That's the joke. I don't know. Oddly enough, of the suits that he mentioned, the one that I'm most excited to see is Spider-Man Noir. Sorry, I'm stretching. I personally find Spider-Man Noir to be totally interesting, extremely fascinating. It's set in kind of like the old like noir comics. It's all black and white. He doesn't have like as much of the super strength or resilience that Spider-Man does, but he relies so much on stealth and everything. I mean, there's what game was it? It was I can't remember which Spider-Man game it was exactly, but there was one you play as 4 different Spider-Man. You play as what is it? He plays Ultimate Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, Spider-Man Noir, and Spider-Man 2099, I think. So what is it? Symbiote Peter, like the old like the 1990s like older Spider-Man. He plays Noir Spider-Man and the futuristic Spider-Man. Each one played a little differently. I can't remember the name of that game exactly, but that was like my first like real look at Spider-Man Noir. Super cool. I really want that suit and really test that thing out.
Yeah, let's do this, and then we can jump back in.
Whoever made him release Shocker didn't want any loose ends.
So we're gonna do the Shocker boss fight now. So when people are playing this demo, at a certain point in the demo, Yuri calls and says, "Hey, Shocker has broken out of jail again." And
Adam, how many times have you played this Shocker fights last week?
Herman!
During the demo,
Oh, look at that suit.
it's a little tough to find enough
Hey,
time,
I'm
but
no
I played
lawyer,
like a
but
good
I'm pretty
So
sure that's a
I will
parole
say this,
violation.
just kind of behind the curtain a little bit. This is actually one of the scenes that we worked on really early to kind of help find the voice for Peter and Spider-Man. And it really came together. I mean, at least I think it came together really well. Where you see the banter, the quips, but like being in a much more specific situation. So I love this whole fight from this intro to actually when they're jarring back and forth
Gauntlets are all
with each
digital
other
now, aren't they?
is a really good example of what we did early on to make sure that we were hitting the point for Spider-Man.
Does anyone think that Shocker's costume kind of looks like a mix of Shocker and Scorpion?
Back behind bars so we can talk science.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's still gotten a lot of love over
Remember
that
our
time
first
too.
fight?
Like, the environment's got better stuff, but it was one of the really early. Oh, I love the lighting in this one too, like the god rays.
Standard metrics for how much talking one should do. Now I can do some real.
And you actually, one of my favorite things too, and I don't know if you can do air combos on Shocker here, so you can punch around.
That's relatively new, by the way. It originally wasn't. It really couldn't. And they changed it, so.
You also can do finishers on it too, which is really cool. So like you can, instead of having to punch him like 3 times, you can do a finisher. It does all the damage.
So I was looking at all the bosses this weekend, and this is some of the stuff that the guys have added. To the boss fights and things like that.
Someone's talking about things like the fist hideout or bomb challenge. There are challenges. Those are replay. The challenges are replayable.
So are the bases.
Yep, and so you can go back and replay that stuff over and over and over again. Crime. There's a ton of crimes to do, and I think like eventually just keep it going right after.
Right. What's the
type of crimes that you see out there and who's in that change over.
Yep.
You know, people don't use banks anymore.
You will not run low on those.
You're lucky you found actual cash.
Oh no, there's lots of
Really want to rob banks?
And I think what's really cool is the
Try day trading.
how sometimes there's just nice twists and turns. Like sometimes you could be in the middle of the street, you could be in the back alley, seeing the drug deal go down, and you can just like take it out. But if they happen to be near a car and they get freaked out, like halfway through the fight, they'll hop in the car and it becomes a car chase. But it's random. It's very dynamic. So or like
little twists and turns.
yeah, little twists and turns where we can, just to make sure to keep things fresh. The enemies that are in there changes, the factions that you're fighting changes. As the story progresses, it gets a lot more like higher stakes. The crimes get more severe. So just like the look of the city changes, so the crimes. That sounded so.
If you know, I mean, I think you were able to surmise what they were talking about near the end. I mean, it was I missed a lot of the stuff that they were talking about just during that little cutscene with him and Shocker, just because I couldn't completely hear what Intar was saying. But I think he was just kind of reiterating that that it's very dynamic of what's happening, that there's all these different crimes, and that it's they're near a car, they get freaked out, like half. I think as he put, like half will stay and fight, some will get in and start a car chase. So I think he's pushing that these. Sorry, I had to stretch. I think he's trying to push out the fact that these street crimes and everything will be dynamic. That it's not always going to be the same thing.
PR there.
Yeah, that was good.
Training well.
So someone said, "Can you remove the suit and play as Peter?" No, because Peter's identity is secret. Peter can't be running around with his face showing. People don't know who he is.
Aunt May would be in danger.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, don't we play as just Peter though? There are sections.
Earlier, I don't think you can do it in here. So
If he wants to get pwned, he will.
Yeah. So we can try to show that again in our next run through of this. Someone else said. What was the other question that I was? Oh, someone asked when we're going to show the next pre-order suit because there's still one more pre-order suit. We've said July.
July.
It's gonna be in July.
Well,
You could
what's around July?
you can make a
I
guess.
don't know.
There's an obvious guess in my mind.
4th of July.
That's not right,
Oh.
but that's a good guess.
That's not right.
I was gonna say Bastille Day is another really good
Yeah.
guess, but that's also not right.
The hell is Bastille Day? Oh, never mind.
What's happening in July?
I know what that is.
My wife's birthday is in July.
That's gotta be it.
Is Aunt May
You're like
hot?
homage, right?
Yeah.
We've
Watch the
look at
Paris
this
Games Week trailer. Yeah, we've shown Aunt May.
So I will tell
Aunt
you,
May.
Aunt May is not Marissa Tomei, and she's not the version from the Sam Raimi movie. Well, in between.
She's our own Aunt May.
Yeah.
Let's see. When are you gonna reveal the full collector's edition statue? During the summer, but it's also a spoiler, so don't look if you buy it before you play the game. And we've already basically sold out of the collector's editions, so we're not in a huge rush on that. Where else will this demo be? We're not going to say where this demo will be. There'll be other events.
There are events in the summer.
Yes. You can guess.
You guys are smart.
We'll let you know as soon as we're allowed to let you know when and where it'll be. But if you're going to events this summer, there's a chance it could be there. It's not possible to go to Times Square in this demo. I see that request, Ratchet. We will. I know someone did want to see the Sanctum Sanctorum. We can go there.
Yeah,
we can
yeah.
go there in this
We
demo.
can totally
So we'll
go
do
there.
that. We'll do that after we go through the opening game. We're gonna play one more time. Did we remove QTEs? No, we didn't. There's just
we
not
always
said
many.
there's not that many in the game.
Yeah.
People just wouldn't listen.
So that, I give that person credit. It's the second person that's asked me about QTEs in the last week. So thank you.
All right, guys. I'm gonna take a quick break and make an edit here. I gotta stand up.
Let's see. People ask about other
All right, I'm
characters
back.
in the game. Is Daredevil in this? I think we are focused on Spider-Man universe characters.
Yeah.
That said, this is set inside a Marvel New York City, so you know, places and Easter eggs and stuff like that where
Yeah.
you see like the Sanctum Sanctorum.
Yeah,
are
and
there.
I think the other thing is like we know how hard it is to get Spider-Man right, and I think the expectations are if we were to say Daredevil was here, I think the expectations would be Daredevil would be just as fleshed out and awesome as Spider-Man, and we just want to make sure that in game one we get everything right. And here is Ted Price.
Hey, Ted.
Once
Oh,
again,
oh,
Ted.
walking
Crashing
into
the show.
crashing the show.
Did anyone just catch what Intihar just said? Look, I might be reading too much into what he just said, but he just said the words "in game one." I have not heard word that this is going to be franchised. I have not heard word that this is going to be anything other than a one-off. That makes me now believe we are seeing a new franchise at Insomniac. No, maybe I'm not saying like it's going to span like all like how many games Ratchet and Clank spanned. I'm still waiting for Sunset Overdrive 2. Come on. Work on it after you're done with Spider-Man. I'm sorry, I loved Sunset Overdrive. I want a sequel. But no, I really think that from what he just said, I'm not sure if that was planned or not, but that's now making me think that we're going to see future Spider-Man games, and I'm really hoping we get to see future Spider-Man games from Insomniac.
And some really small indie game.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty.
Yeah.
Just kidding. You can take a seat here.
I'll just stand here.
It's
and
cut
look
off.
weird.
It's cut off here.
Oh.
So.
I'll just kneel behind Brian and John.
Hello, Ted.
Guys, what are you guys talking about?
Well, we just
Spider-Man.
finished one playthrough and we're going back through. Someone asked about weather in the game. I think you saw in that raft demo we showed on the showcase. There's
Yep.
obviously rain.
Yep.
There's different times of day. So you'll see those things. And then if you want after the game, you can change all that stuff as you wish. It's all set by the story when you're playing through the story.
Yeah.
After the game, you can change as much as you want.
Yeah.
So if you want to take photo mode and
Yeah.
at certain times, at certain things, you can set all of that and then go
And
do
then,
photo mode to your heart's content.
Yeah, and the game, and some people have asked, the game does not take place in over one night or one day. It takes place across multiple weeks.
Yeah.
Between October and November.
Ooh, that's an interesting time of year.
I figured. You know,
It's a
that's
nice
a little
fall.
exclusive.
That's a fall. It's a crisp fall.
That's a stream exclusive.
People always thought that calendar in that trailer where you saw him pulling on the suit, they were all like, that calendar meant, oh, that calendar, that's your release date.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, no,
Yes,
it's
right.
not. But
Yeah.
the calendar was the actual timing for the game in
Yeah.
terms of that is when the game
Yeah,
takes
the game
place.
starts in October.
There's difficulty settings.
Yes.
Yep, and they're all available right at the back.
Not all.
Interesting. Maybe not.
Okay, so I'm gonna guess you unlock a hardcore mode.
All right. There we go. No symbiotes in the game. That's
symbiotes or symbiotes.
I say symbiotes.
Of course,
I say symbiote.
If you watch it then in front of you, you'll get it.
I know. I did get I got the reference, but okay. So we said we're going to Sanctum Sanctorum first. That's where we're gonna go check out.
I believe that's a reference to Oh, come on, brain. I believe that's a reference to Sony's Venom trailer. How they say symbiote and not symbiote or symbiote. However now I forget how I say it. I think it's symbiote. I believe that is the proper way to say it. Again, that's a reference to the Venom trailer, which, by the way, super excited for because I think that's awesome. I think Sony's doing some really cool Spider-Man work. Personally, I'm done with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm sorry, I'm tangenting into the Marvel movies or the Spider-Man movies for just a quick second here, and I'll tie this into the game. I'm not interested in the Marvel Cinematic Universe anymore. There's just been too many damn movies. I think the next one that I might see is Ant-Man and the Wasp, just because Ant-Man was the last one that I truly enjoyed. So I might see Ant-Man and the Wasp. I'm not gonna lie. But overall, I have no interest to see Spider-Man Homecoming, just because I don't. Honestly, I like the Andrew Garfield Amazing Spider-Man films. I thought the first one was pretty good, and the second one was okay. I mean, it was still enjoyable enough to watch. Say what you want about that. I enjoyed those films. I enjoyed the first Tobey Maguire film. The second one was okay, and then the third one, just let's kind of forget about that one. But the other project that this kind of ties into what I'm going to be talking about during the game here is the Into the Spider-Verse movie that's coming out at the end of the year for Sony, where you're seeing all the different Spider-Man for the different universes, kind of like cross paths. You see Miles and Peter and all that shit. I'm hoping for not just that, but also for this. I highly doubt in this game we're going to see Madam Web, because that's a little supernatural-y. That would be really hard to do right. But so much of me really wants to see Madam Web in this game, just because I love Madam Web. I love her storylines, just because they're really cool, bridging the gaps of the universes and everything. If anybody's seen the Spider-Man cartoon that I can't remember the name, it was literally called Spider-Man. I think it was ran in the 90s, the mid 90s. Had that techno opening. It was a hell of a show. It kind of dark, kind of angry. I really enjoyed it. They had a great couple arcs with Madam Web, where he's going through all these different universes and bringing all these Marvel characters together, all the multiple versions of Spider-Man. Really cool show. I'd love to see her in this game, although I highly doubt it's going to be here. That tangent was totally unnecessary. I'm sorry. Sometimes I start talking, I can't stop.
Yeah, Brian can send you there. It's over in that direction somewhere.
Sorry, I get talking sometimes and I just can't stop.
Ryan, what do you think?
No, they're not quite over.
Yeah, there you go. I was going to say that too, but
I think it's
still right?
It's
hard because it's not. We don't have the landmarks.
It's hard because the city is so big.
And the city's gigantic, and it's New York.
It's near the. Okay, go left from here.
This is like when I'm trying to find my way around with a GPS.
The whole demo looking
It
for
times
it.
out right before you find it. Let's see. Pull up the minimap.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, that was the
Okay,
end.
so you're right around there. Here, give me the controller.
All right, Brian taking control. And that was where we hit the edge of the demo experience, so it turns people around and sends them right back into the demo area. I like how someone keeps asking about Peter's department. I think that's some fun auto correct.
Come on, where the heck is this sucker? I gotta get to.
If you get up
Follow us
high.
down, Brian.
I know, now I'm totally. Shit. I can't talk while I do this.
Okay, well, John, what's been your favorite part writing for this game?
My notes.
Yeah, definitely getting notes from Brian. It's the highlight of my life. No, it's really it's getting to explore a character that I've always loved. I mean, I grew up reading Spider-Man comics, and as I get older, one of my dreams was to work on anything related to Spider-Man. but of course you never think that you're gonna get that opportunity, and so finally got that opportunity. And
I swear I play the game a lot.
It's just been great.
It's a big city. Listen to you, John.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna keep talking while Brian fumbles with trying to play. So there's that, and just to have fun too. We making games is hard, and it's fun to write funny things, and even if they're not funny to other people, it makes my life.
They're funny to me.
I thought they were funny.
Yeah,
I love them.
Actually, I feel like it's
there are
over.
moments.
It's like my jokes on this channel. They're funny to me. Deal with it.
For every moment that you laugh out loud, there's 9 other moments where you were like, "Oh my god, that's a
Feels
terrible
right.
joke."
There it is. There it is. There it is. On the right. On the right. On the right. Other side. Behind you.
Other right. Other right.
Yeah.
Go.
Right.
Yo,
You're on the
do
back
that.
side of it right now.
I think it's part of the process. I mean, when
Yes.
you start,
All right, here we go.
you just kind of figure out what the tone is
Yep.
through lots of trial and error and other people reading it.
Yep.
So yeah, and I mean it's our character's really hard to get right.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Like we talked about Shocker, that's like been in the game for 2.5 years, but
I'm gonna get back to Adam because
Demon Base?
we've
Well
been
done, Brian.
writing, for 3 years, and a lot of the stuff that we've written we've thrown away, not necessarily because it was bad, but just because it needs to fit the story that we're trying to tell, and that's I think something that's different about game writing, is that you as you develop the game, you learn new things about what's more fun for
Oh,
gameplay.
get the debut.
Were you gonna get
I'm
Daily
still
Bugle?
listening, dude.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, so you can actually check all the Daily Bugles update throughout the game with the events in the city, so you can see
Oh, that's
the
cool.
events in the Daily Bugle as you're going around. And when you also hear J. Jonah Jameson calling.
So the other thing you might notice was that when that NPC, sometimes you'll high five, sometimes you get a selfie, but sometimes they'll actually point out things in the world, like they'll point out backpacks, they'll point out like
Just try and kick a civilian.
They do lots of cool
So
stuff.
I think one of the cool things you did during the project, John, was to send out drafts of the entire script to the whole company.
Oh yeah. I think that's another thing about game writing is that
that's cool and also absolutely frightening.
it's somewhat frightening, but it's a good way to kind of test to see if what you're doing is working, And granted, not everybody likes to read, so yeah. Well, it's funny because we do usability tests all the time, and we just recently got some usability test results from folks, and they're saying they really are enjoying the story. And I was talking to somebody in the elevator today, and they were like, that's great that people are really liking the story. And I'm like, well, the main story hasn't really changed much, but the cutscenes have gotten much better. So instead of people having to read temp text on the screen, they actually watch the cutscenes and they kind of understand the story better. So
It does make a huge difference when
It
you
makes-
start seeing the actors give their interpretations
Yep.
of what you've written.
when we get the facial
And-
animation in there, the performance, it adds so much.
And I think also the animators are staging the cameras in interesting ways, and audio guys are adding a lot of things. I mean,
Yep.
really, it is a constant sort of baking the cake
Yeah.
process.
Yep.
So what happens if you fail a QTE? Depends on the QTE.
Yeah, it depends on the QT.
Yeah, that can be different based on the thing.
You get smashed by a boulder.
Good ones we've got.
Have you guys
Looking at you, Resident Evil 4.
particular gameplay segment?
Oh, the
we
base?
we did fist base. We didn't
Yeah, we
do
did fist
base.
base, so this is a different type of base.
Yeah, this gets tougher. I mean, things really start to ramp up. I mean, Adam's really good, so. it's
So,
gonna be really easy.
of the various factions, like you said, you saw the fist base. There's other factions in the game, including the demons.
Yeah.
The demons generally are running out of these warehouses. So, nice. And now, here you go. Here's the web hanging. Everyone that wanted to see it a second time. This is the big question. Everyone's like, can you web hang? Even though it was in the raft demo, you can do it off of any ceiling. And then you can do some cool stealth stuff.
awesome.
Oh, look at that. That was rad. And Adam's going to use more
Why didn't you do that on the stage?
web trip mines, and that guy gets jolted in, and so you can hang off of that and then use photo mode and all sorts of other stuff to your heart's content.
What's keeping him from just shouting and warning his
I know people are
boys?
asking questions about the photo mode. We will answer those at a later time. We're still working on it.
And apparently, every Sony first-party game has to up the other one in photo
Yeah,
mode. So.
yeah. So now it's like we just
So
got,
we
we have to beat
so
God of
we
War
gotta
and
beat God of
Detroit's
War now,
photo
yeah.
modes now. Yeah. Oh, all right.
Why did God of War need a photo mode? I don't get it.
We see more of the classic suit before launch. Maybe. We
I
always
don't
show him in this suit. I don't know.
I mean, you start the game off with the classic suit, and then something happens to suit, and this is.
I think you may see more of that mission probably before we launch at some point. So maybe you'll see more of the suit in there. I'm not gonna say no, but it's also like, yeah, I know you guys want to see it, so I think you probably will before the game comes out. See more from that opening mission of the game.
Throw him around.
Because we didn't really show much footage of it with Game Informer. Just
Yeah.
the little sprinkle. I think you guys will get to see a little bit more of that before launch. So hang with us on that.
Oh, another thing is, a lot of people ask, like, are there more, like, combat moves and finishers? Like, we actually only selected 5 finishers to show.
Right, that's why you
during-
keep seeing the same ones.
Yeah,
over and over
well, actually,
again.
there's a ton of finishers that you'll see throughout when you're playing. So I know that was a question for some people. So
yeah, that's a good answer. That's one that's been coming up a bunch.
You're welcome, James.
Yeah, thank you.
And let me just say that it's not easy to get, when you web these guys to the wall or any surface or something like that, it's not easy to get that to look good.
God, you're so good at this game. It's sick.
The fact that the team has rallied, and it takes like every department working together to make that look good.
And I will say, what's really, and I sent a note about it this weekend, was like every weekend I feel like I'm discovering something new about the combat system that I didn't know was there or they've recently added. So it's pretty, like it really has really come together and really gelling really well. Like, this was, for a console game, for our really first melee-based action game. So the team has really knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, they've done an incredible job.
Oh,
the guy dropped right through it. That was awesome. He like threw the web line right as he jumped down. It's like right back in. That's great.
And that's what I really.
I think that's the gadget I want to use the most is the trip mine.
Really experiment and do
Try to
really
disarm that guy. Alright, can you do it?
Heal up. Don't
heal
die.
up.
So someone asked what difficulty this is on. I think it's just normal,
It's just
right?
normal,
But
yeah. Then you can disarm guys and throw their weapons at them.
we did tone down these bases. Ever
Yeah,
so
they're
slightly,
actually a little bit. There's actually a few more waves and harder enemies in the final game. But we were throwing so much at people, we didn't want to make it impossible.
Yeah, that was the main thing. Knowing people that would only have played.
Oh, cool. Or Kanrana.
They might face that Fisk base, and then also knowing you only have so long to play, we didn't want you to have to play. Like we probably cut a third of the bases out, so that you would so it would reduce the amount of time you spend.
And also,
in them.
like that's not like in that general area. That's not all the activities that are in that area.
Right, we cut activities out.
Cut activities out. There's like a lot of quest lines and stuff like that. Where
Jeez.
Various pedestrians, NPCs in the world and stuff.
This
like
just
that.
focuses on activities and collectibles. There are also side quests.
Yeah.
There's the main missions. There's all of that stuff to go with it too. Yep.
Nice
There are
try.
side villains. Yeah.
Jesus.
I'm gonna go back and play.
All right.
Okay.
Bye,
All right.
Ted.
Hey, Ted.
Bye,
Thanks for
guys.
stopping by. Everybody, Ted Price. Oh, you did see MJ was calling. It's her one appearance in this demo.
Whereas Yuri's kind of your contact for the Fisk bases and gives you kind of scoop what's happening there. MJ is your contact on the demon bases.
There is a skill tree, by the way. I saw a question go by. I was like, is there a skill tree?
Yes.
There's like everything you get from leveling up your character with experience is skills that basically augment your core abilities, like whatever Spider-Man can do. And then there's the stuff that's in the crafting and sort of like the tech side of things, which is suits and suit powers, suit mods, and gadgets and upgrades. And those are separate.
All right, God, I thought he was done talking. Sorry if you're just hearing me go, Jesus, in the background is when they're saying, yeah, we cut out activities, and this is just activities. There's also side missions and side villains and all this crap, and I'm just like, God damn it. Because I'm excited, because I knew about the Harry Osborn stuff, and I knew I thought the side activities played into the side missions, because I know Black Cat's in this game, various other Spider-Man villains and characters from the franchise are in this game, and he has like little quest lines and whatnot, but I thought they were tied to the activities. So now that we know these activities are totally separate from the side missions, so I just want to know how much is in this freaking game. Like I'm getting more and more excited by the minute.
Separate sort of upgrade category.
I also saw somebody ask about a Spanish dub. We are localizing in a lot of languages for this game.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, there are a lot of languages. We can't get into super specifics on that. It was my fault. I started telling people, and then they were like, no, like some of those smaller markets, they want to have a big announcement and do something around the fact that it's getting into.
yeah, do that one.
Oh, there's one of the.
Oh, that's cool.
But Spanish is an obvious one because
Yes.
we
Are
got
there-
like
are there,
German,
are there
Italian,
those
Spanish.
cylinders.
Oh,
in
can you
this?
find one of the?
Ooh, yeah.
There's one somewhere. I'm pretty sure I've seen a video of someone hitting it. I think we'll play one more time because we're about to run out of time. I want to do a couple of the challenges.
Okay.
Do the.
But
yeah,
we're gonna run out of time, so let's just mess around for a couple minutes because I know Yuri's already called.
Go
for
after that.
soccer.
Go after that
Yeah,
car.
I'll stop.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome. We could catch this car for sure. Here's a car chase. These are awesome.
And what's really cool is that he went to the truck first, but you actually can go to the SUV if you want as well.
Yeah. So there's a trailing SUV that's shooting at Spider-Man 2. Oh, dude, that was awesome.
See, I like how it's just a simple QTE compared to the
Now,
old
because
ones.
He didn't take out the SUV. This SUV pulls up and these guys jump out immediately. Whereas, and you could have taken out the SUV first, right?
Yep. Oh, that was awesome. Tripwire midair. That was sweet.
And you see, you got bonus objectives for webbing up the bomb. So if you stop the truck,
You know what? I've never done the bomb than these guys before.
so you can even do that. You could disarm the bomb and then
Learn
clean
something
up.
new every day.
I like how the cop jumps out, pulls his gun. It's like, hey,
Don't worry,
everything's
guys.
handled, man. We got this covered.
Yeah, I got this.
We got this covered. Why do they want Corey to play next?
I don't want to make Adam look bad.
Corey, have you played this game before?
Corey's.
What is this? Is this the that Spider-Man game?
Yeah.
We can't fast travel in this build because there's no. I don't think
We disabled fast
yeah,
travel.
we disabled fast travel for the build.
Well,
Sorry.
I can tell you right now, it's a fast travel requirement. I never fast travel just because it's too
It's fun to
playing.
swing around, right?
But like when you're playing
But
this, you
they're
may find
super
yourself
fun.
wanting to
They're
just to see the
super
little
fun. They're super
vignettes.
fun.
Yeah.
Oh, there's little vignettes?
We're going to Comic-Con. That sounds like an interesting place to be, doesn't it, for a comic-based video game? We have not said anything, but stay tuned.
So, yes.
It makes sense, doesn't it? Though, man.
Hope so. Oh, that was cool. Do you see him web the backpack?
Yeah, he webs it and pulls it in. That's and each of those. So one of the things about the backpacks are collectible, right?
Sorry, we're just laughing at development things.
One of the things, like John, one of the things that's been important is everything has story in it, right?
That's
so
right.
all these backpacks, we always try to have story. Like Harry has a little bit of story for each of these research stations. Black Cat has a little bit of story for her things. Each of the demon bases has a little story. The bases do. The challenges do. So.
Yeah, backpacks were interesting because early on when we decided to have Spider-Man be like 8 years into being Spider-Man, we were like, all right, we need a way to tell the story of what's happened in the last 8 years.
Awesome.
And the backpacks was one of those ways that we can, put some items around the city and give players give us an opportunity to tell what's been happening while Spider-Man's been out doing his stuff.
So what you'll do is, and John, if I apologize if you repeat this, what you can do is once you find the item, you can go to the options menu.
watch out.
Pete will talk. Pete will talk about each item.
Yeah. So one of the things too is we added these so not every citizen loves you, so sometimes random citizens pull guns on you, which was one of my favorite things when Reiner discovered that.
Yes.
Again, I was watching him play on Monday night after the press event, and then suddenly he was just messing around on the street, and suddenly someone pulled a gun on him. He's like, "What the hell just happened?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's pretty sweet." We're not going to talk about the trophies or what trophies there are or aren't.
There's trophies?
There will be trophies. There's a
You
platinum.
get a trophy, Brian.
I get a trophy.
There's a
You get
platinum.
trophy.
All that stuff.
I don't think we can make it through cert if we don't have trophies.
Yeah,
I'd ask if there's online trophies.
it should be timing out now, right?
Yeah, like any second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
Just stand
timer on
still
the
for a
demo.
minute, and well, I'm sure that makes for a bad stream if you
Yeah,
just stand
yeah,
still.
if you stand still.
Oh, but we put on an extended timer.
Oh,
Go to a challenge then.
Do the
You have
challenge.
10 more minutes than you normally would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought since Yuri called that we were almost done either way, but okay. Yeah,
I
go
think
to
we
a
call no
challenge.
matter what, and then you could go
so you
longer
do
if
stop
want
time
to.
to time.
So we
Got
go
it.
in the 25
And you can see actually if you saw you can see the E3 demo space from last year, the construction site. If you turn the camera for just a second, you see those towers back over. That is where I don't think you can go, or can you go? Over
Yeah,
there?
you can go
yeah.
there.
Okay, yeah, there's nothing there right now. But
That's-
so this is all the real. That was all real. When you saw that demo last year, that was a real thing. That was all real gameplay.
In the
These
open
were this is where we fought the heavy up there, and there's a mission on this whole set piece. So
saving bad guys for the bad guys. Not what I.
Not how I expected
not
the day to
expected
go.
it
Yeah.
I only heard that live.
You can't throw cars, but you sometimes will have to catch them or stop them. Is there a lot of load times?
Not a ton. No. I mean, there are some when you go inside and stuff like and outside, but
When you have to transition, yeah.
Yeah, we try to keep it maximized as much as possible.
Yeah, that's one of those things where you try to optimize as much as you can.
Yeah, and that just keeps getting better and better as we get closer to finishing because we optimize everything. So.
Yeah, so like the frame, we're always trying to clean up any little frame rate dips we see. We're always trying to make sure all the loads are as quick
Scott
as possible.
Mahalik, our lead PM, our lead producer on this, is like a performance memory ninja in terms of wants it to be everything to be awesome for every player. So rest assured it will run great on PS4 and PS4 Pro.
Which is great because, performance is never like one big thing. It's always a bunch of little things that you fix, you end up fixing. It's like, oh, why are we loading that anim set?
Well, I mean, it's like a team effort in terms of getting it all done. But like the things that we discover, like this like version of Spider-Man was always loaded, which was killing us in terms of memory or something, and it's just these random things that you discover, which are great. Like when you find them, they're such huge savings. You're like, it's like finding gold.
Will random activities be repetitive? I don't feel like they are. There's lots of good stuff to go do.
What do they mean by like?
I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. I don't really feel like there's anything.
You can do like I said, the challenges and bases again.
Yeah, you can redo. So this is one of our challenges.
Drone challenge, yeah.
Yeah, and we can't get too much into.
Okay, I'm gonna take a shot of what they were talking about. Were those like straight crimes? And I have a feeling that if you do what I do, and every time one pops up and your ADD kicks in, and you just like start getting distracted everywhere, that yes, they will get repetitive eventually. But I think from what they're saying is that they're trying to make it as dynamic and different every time you play it, or every one that you play. They're trying to keep it dynamic and keep it interesting.
The lore behind this, but
sorry, just let me finish this thought. Basically, you see similar themes, but it's not going to be exactly the same thing every time. So if that makes sense.
You can read-game Informer, or you can piece some of that together, and you'll get to play. But there's definitely lore around these challenge crates that are
we're in this build we show the drone challenge and the bomb challenge. There are others.
Yeah. So this
one's hard.
Yeah, this is hard. You have to follow these drones to the city, and it's all about your speed and following it to score points, and also following its path because it's going to lay these spheres that you have to hit. So it's almost like
it's supposed spy cameras.
It's like. Oh, okay, so you have to take out the spy.
You
missed
missed
Adam!
That's why he's a combat designer.
Not a traversal. We got the wrong. But these are really fun.
No, these are freaking hard, dude.
Yeah,
these are hard.
But again, people like say
these are fun. No, they're not.
This is challenging. This requires you to put Spider-Man in the right place at the right time while going as fast as you can. And people who want to, if people think that our traversal is simple, this is where it's it's easy to pick up. It's very difficult to master and put Spider-Man exactly where you want him to be as quickly as possible.
And I think the thing was listen, we all love superheroes because we want to. In some way, we always want to be a superhero. We don't want it to be frustrating to be a superhero right away, right?
Right.
So it's about making you feel really great off the bat. Sorry, it's in my eye. But also then there's a level like with these kind of like drone challenges to have some level of mastery.
Yeah, definitely.
So like people like Adam can get better.
That's right. That reason is why I didn't go through in the live demo.
Yeah. Is that why?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
100%.
You do very well. Yeah. Well, this is why we made you do it.
Yeah.
We should have had Mark Stewart play because I've been playing through, and if there's ever like a challenge that I'm like,
oh, I know.
Damn, I thought I got a gold and I didn't get it. And Mark's like, I can get a gold every time.
I just want to point out the density in the streets as he's swinging above them. The amount of cars and pedestrians you can see even when you're flying, it still blows my mind.
Yeah, there's three things we asked for early on when we were making this game. One, there's a lot of people. Two, there's a lot of cars and fire escapes.
Yeah,
like that was really.
Can you talk about how difficult fire escapes are?
We could just pull Doug Sheen in here, and he'll tell us. Here's a selfie. It's just one of those things that, like,
you have to do.
You have to. First of all, to feel like New York City, you go to New York City. There's fire escapes, but at the same time, we don't want it to interrupt traversal. So, Doug, Elliot, and all the traversal guys were able to make it work and feel pretty fluid. Actually, can you find a fire escape and go vertical?
There's special handling over, under, and like up and over, kind of like you go side to side, over and under, depending.
Oh,
on
there it
where
is.
Yeah, there's one right there.
Just go straight up.
This is my favorite.
Yeah. We need to find it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
It's
This is why I like doing these streams because we can point out,
we can
yeah,
just
where do I find this?
we can show the really cool stuff that sometimes you're on like an IGN stream and it's like you're just trying to show the main beats of it.
yeah.
Now we're getting to like show you guys some of the cool nitty gritty.
Let me ask: did you guys ever have that conversation where they were like, "Do we have to have fire escapes?"
Oh, of course,
Oh,
yeah.
multiple
They,
times. Multiple times.
oh, there's a good one right to your. You just passed it on the right there.
here it
there
is,
you go.
right
Yeah, here.
That's
I like it. You got the little shops here and signage.
Yeah, so he uses the
So he uses the webs to pull up
Yeah.
each balcony. Ah, so
I love
good.
that. That's one of my. I didn't even know that was in the game until like one day I just discovered. I was like, oh my god, they thought of it. So cool.
Someone said, "Is it always sunset?" So the time of day is always set by the game and the story. So this demo will always be sunset. After the game, you can change day, night, weather, all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we have we'll have multiple times a day while you're playing through the main story. For some of the side content, we'll change time of day because it fits that particular quest better. But yeah, we have a bunch of different times of day, weather, and then give the flexibility after you finish the game to do whatever you want.
You cannot.
Okay, so from what I pull from that it's dynamic. It's not constantly. It's not going to shift day night. It's not going to be like a cycle. At least from how they're putting it that way. I originally was thinking that it was going to cycle through, but I guess that doesn't make sense if it's like, hey, go stop this bank robbery, but I'm out doing like side crap for like two days worth of a day night cycle, and that makes no sense. So I'm guessing it's set at different chapters, changes the different time.
Break through normal windows. Someone keeps asking.
No.
There are times in the game where Spider-Man will break through a window.
Yes.
But not just whenever he wants, however he wants.
He's not a. He's not
He's not
vandal.
he's trying.
I mean, he might be a menace, but not a vandal.
I mean, sometimes he has to break windows, but he's doing his best.
Only for a good reason.
Yeah. Do you want to do maybe another? I don't know. Research bomb. What do we want to see? Anything? Or I guess if another crime comes up. We're doing a car chase.
Is the J. Jonah Jameson graffiti in here?
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea where it is. Yeah. We did tweet a photo of it though. If you go back and search through all our E3 photos, there's certainly a photo of that J. Jonah Jameson graffiti.
So, like, I will say some of that is done by our lead environment artist, Jason Hickey. He did a bunch of the graffiti. Then we also hired a bunch of graffiti artists from New York to actually do graffiti in the game. So, that was pretty awesome.
There you go. I don't know what that is. What crime is that?
I don't know, but I'm gonna stop it.
What do I mean by no symbiotes? There's no symbiotes in this game. Oh, look, 60 seconds left.
There's no symbiotes in the game.
Oh, this is a shootout?
Alright, new bonus objective, stop it in 1 minute.
Oh, by the way, did you know that move was in the demo? The ground pound.
Oh, that's a move. Yeah, if you haven't seen that, where he smashes the ground, that's a move that I don't think we've shown before.
Oh, yeah, that wasn't supposed to be in the demo.
Whoops! Well,
yeah, that's okay.
you know, things happen.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. He has a ground smash, apparently.
Marvel buildings in the world. Can you change music in the background? No. There's a cinematic score. The score is sensational.
Thank you.
I really, really like it.
Thank you.
We will reveal more.
You see how you
that was neat.
About that later.
Yeah. It's an original score. We worked really closely with the composer of that. We absolutely love. And what's really great is that now a lot of the scenes are getting their final passes in terms of animation, lighting, audio, and which includes music. And it's amazing how much music makes a difference to how a scene feels.
Yeah. People, it's not Hans Zimmer.
It's not Hans Zimmer.
It's not like a big name, but I think you will. This guy eventually you will know him.
You will eventually know him, for
because
sure.
he's tremendous.
To him, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, he's really.
That's
really
a lot
good.
of emojis.
Yeah, that was a lot of emojis. Is there anything else you guys wanted to show people? We've got about 10-15 minutes left on the stream. Is there anything else you want to
has anybody
highlight?
asked about the Cleveland Browns yet?
I haven't seen anything about the Cleveland
my buddy
Browns.
Joe's watching. Don't ask about the Cleveland Browns. You know they're going to not be very good this
Did you
year.
just throw a gummy bear?
I might did. I got very
Yeah, where
violent
the
about
fruit?
the Browns.
Someone didn't bring in any fruit snacks when we were doing the E3 captures for the showcase.
To break Joe's heart, LeBron James is not going to Philadelphia 76ers.
He's coming to LA. He's going to come to LA.
He's not going to come to LA.
He's going to come to LA. LeBron
Right,
James
sorry.
in LA.
I thought
Actually,
it was sports
I got to tell you,
podcast.
there's a great Reddit thing that compared.
the ceilings.
We'll do the one more time. We'll do the web thing on this one more time.
Oh my God, really? Just pick a GIF of it, man.
Yeah, it's in there. It's in this. We've shown it twice now.
Just want to see it hang from a ceiling.
The Insomniac engine. This is our internal.
All right, I have a question. What was the weirdest question you guys got asked at E3, or funniest thing that you heard? Because I have two awesome ones.
Oh, Do you guys have any?
Yeah, I got asked. So, what did you think Death Stranding was about? Yeah.
So we were joking because Kojima-san was eating dinner near us one night, and we were joking that we should go offer him information on the sixth villain for information on what the hell Death Stranding is about.
Yeah.
Rod,
you got any more questions?
He might have done something with that. I'm not gonna lie.
2 really fun comments. One was, it was on my Twitter feed. Someone, after watching the Wrath video, commented, "I'm pregnant." So that I was like, okay, and that was a male. That was, I guess, that was interesting. But then, if anybody saw the kind of funny segment that we did, Bill Roseman gave me underwear. And then someone legitimately asked if I would give my underwear to them. And I didn't know if they were. I was like, no, I did not.
This is on Twitter or in person?
No, this was in person. They come to me and go, "Can I have your underwear?" And I was like,
no.
Some people really like that, Brian.
I don't know. It's really
at least it was clean at that point, right? You haven't worn it yet.
Well, maybe we'll give it away when we ship.
That's how you know that you made it to the big leagues.
Yeah, people want your underwear.
No one asked Kojima for his underwear, so you know.
People might have asked Kojima for his underwear. I don't know. They might have asked him.
That's true.
What are the reasons for not people? I don't know. I don't understand. People are. There's this thing about free roaming as Peter Parker. The game's designed around being Spider-Man in the open world and doing Spider-Man stuff.
Yeah, but I will say that a big thing that we've talked about a lot was that one thing we really talked about was to deliver a true Spider-Man experience. We had to have an emphasis on Peter Parker. So there will be missions where you're playing as Peter. You'll be at work as Peter. You'll be doing work at his work as Peter. So there's a very heavy emphasis on Peter. Whether you're going to walk around him in the open world, that is a no. We just we pick and choose our battles, and he's also trying to think of what would be the right situation to put him in there in the open world. And we just felt like we really wanted to double down on specific missions and his work.
Yeah, and I think that's an important aspect of it, is that when he's not being Spider-Man out in the open world, solving crimes and taking care of people, he's got to be at work. Like, he's got to balance these two aspects of who he is.
I saw, if you guys saw the Daily Bugle. Oh man, I didn't bring one of those in here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair point. I don't think it would work in this game to play as Peter out in the open world, because again, it's like they said, it's a focus on being Spider-Man. It's like running around the open world as Bruce Wayne in Arkham. It just it wouldn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense. I mean, maybe it would be cool, but granted, Arkham is a totally, it's that everyone's an enemy, not like this where, there's people on the ground that aren't enemies. But still, I don't think it would work too well. But it's interesting to hear them say that we're, at his work, doing work. I'm curious to see what that's going to be exactly. Again, I want to know. I'm stumbling through here. Sorry, this has been a really long video. I haven't really done a lot of commenting for like the last 20 minutes. Sorry about that. It's a lot of repeat of stuff. We know Mary Jane is in this game. I'm 90% sure she's playable at some point in time. Like they said, like there's a certain mission that you play as her. I can't remember where I read that, but as far as I know, Mary Jane is playable at some point in the game. So again, I think it's similar to that with Peter Parker. It's just where you play as him makes sense inside the larger scope of the narrative. Excuse me. Jeez, my voice is starting to go again.
Jeremy, can you grab one off the table out there real fast? Or Corey's gonna maybe go do it. There was some interesting advertisements for places looking for lab assistants.
There we go. You can crawl on the ceiling.
Yeah, okay, so he's crawling on the ceiling, and you can hang whenever you want from the ceiling. So you then can shoot webs, or you can do takedowns, or you can use like the web tripwire gadget if you have any. You may have run out of them already. So there you go. There's the ceiling, and you can crawl on walls, and you can run up walls. You can run along the side of walls. There you go. Okay, so here's the Daily Bugle. This one's one that's being signed by people. Let's see if people can see this. And this is awesome. There are some cool. Chris Baker, C-Bake, did a great YouTube video where he analyzed the whole thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he analyzed. Yeah, it was a great video. I watched it the other night. So there's lots of cool stuff. This is essentially in-universe paper, so like this is the day after the raft breakout, what the Daily Bugle would have looked like, and there's great stuff like Oscorp is looking for people, Daily Bugle webcasts.
Weren't these on eBay like the first day of the show?
Yeah, people were eBaying. There's a ton. I hope no one has to pay too much to get one. They'll probably keep appearing over this summer at other places. It's actually on newsprint. It's really cool. This full size 8-page
It's really
newspaper.
pretty sweet, man.
Yeah, like.
But what was your favorite part about the Daily Bugle? What was your favorite part of watching?
Oh, so here's the funny thing. One of the things I learned on day one: millennials don't know how to use newspaper dispensers. Like,
Corey, you're
Really?
right?
Yeah, kind of like.
you're kind of on the
like
straddle. You're on the
Ryan.
shoulder. You're a shoulder millennial.
Yeah,
You're like on the
self-hating
shoulder.
millennial.
But like, yeah, we watch people trying to walk up to the newspaper dispensers and they didn't know what they were, or they'd walk up and they'd be like trying to like open the very top of it where the coins would go or something, and they're like, "What the hell?" And then like you'd also see other times there'd be people all standing around and someone who knew would walk up and open it and then take Daily Bugles, and all these other people would be like, "Whoa!" They're like cavemen if there's fire for the first time. Like, "Whoa! It opens! There's actual newspapers." Because you just see the front of it. You don't see the stack of newspapers on the inside.
That's hilarious.
I'm like, we need to like make a card that says "Open to take one." And there was one guy who was like putting his hands all over it like it was a foreign object, and I was like, "Hey man, like you need a quarter." And he's like, "Oh." And he's like, "Hey guys, anybody got a quarter?" And I was like, "No, I'm messing with you. It's free." So
Yeah.
But yeah, people did not know how to open a newspaper dispenser, and it was something none of us ever thought of when this whole idea came together.
That's like rotary dial phones. Like I'm sure people,
What do I do to dial a phone number on a rotary phone? I mean, good lord, like, yeah, that was...
that one I might actually not know.
Anyway, that was the biggest surprise of
When I was a
early
kid,
E3.
a friend showed me like if you pulled down a certain way with certain force, you could open them up automatically. So that's what we used to go around town, actually just like yanking them down and opening and taking all newspapers.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Well,
why?
we were wondering how many people would take giant stacks, and we didn't even really care because we had so many of them.
Yeah.
So people did. If you really want one, it's a great souvenir. Don't pay too much on your
I literally
paperwork.
don't even have
There'll be
one.
more.
I don't think.
Yeah, there's some extras laying around, and I think we're supposed to get a stack of them. But like, if you pay $10 or $15, you probably get your money's worth out of it. It's pretty cool.
I took a couple on the first day and then went out to dinner with Ryan and Jacinda, and then I left it on the table.
Oh no!
Afterwards.
We actually changed the back on the first day. The second day's print run changed to this full-size Spider-Man ad.
Why? What's the first ad?
It's like this white one that has like PlayStation consoles on it. No one really knows.
Whatever.
There's all this crazy security, so no one knows how any of the assets get made. No one has visibility. Corey spent a ton of time working on this, getting all of these photos that are in the paper, and
I was really impressed how well it turned out.
yeah, it's really cool. There's also an online edition, there'll be a new one every month, and those are all the events leading up to the beginning of the game.
Shit, really?
Yeah.
Oh, neat.
You can go read the June edition of that right now on your computer. One other cool thing we had at E3 this year while we're playing all that is this new shirt that was designed by Dave Gurton.
All right, are we gonna get?
Who's of Creature Box and works in our North Carolina studio. He's the guy who originally...
Oh man, they go right to the end.
And if you like this shirt, if you think it's cool, you can go on our web store right now, Insomniac.store, and buy the shirt. And get it shipped to you. Which is pretty sweet. We debuted this shirt on Tuesday, and the next day...
Yeah, fine. I'll go through the last 7 minutes. Why not?
For yourself. Some of them will be kids with balloons. I also saw will there be pizza missions. Peter's got a job. He's a scientist. He doesn't have time to be doing Postmate runs. Like,
You've already played that game.
yeah, you've already done that. This is new stuff. Yeah. But, New York pizza's great. If you can figure out which is the actual place you want to go to. Because they all have the same name. That's the real problem with New York pizza.
Can you see Cats the musical?
The what?
Cats the musical?
Can you see it?
Yeah.
In the game?
Yeah.
Didn't they close
No.
that down?
Really?
Yeah, Cats isn't open. No, you didn't do this one.
Alright.
Alright, this will be the last piece of gameplay, I think. Man, what else? There was one other... Oh, the disabling dodge. I know everyone wants where when you do a perfect dodge, you web someone in the face.
Yeah.
That is not unlocked in this build, I don't believe.
I tried. I think you're right.
I don't believe that's skill.
Oh, really?
I tried a
pretty
bunch
sure
of
it's
times.
I'm usually pretty good at this combat.
I have
thing,
never
so-
seen anyone pull it off, and in myself playing it,
Yeah,
I'm
no.
90% sure that skill is not unlocked.
Yeah.
That is a skill. You do unlock it in the
Yeah.
skill tree. It
Get
still
a perfect
happens.
dodge.
When you get a perfect dodge, you web the guy in the face when
Yeah.
you do it.
And there's another upgrade off that, which is
yeah,
awesome.
even better.
Yes.
Yep. It is. It makes your life very, very handy
Yes.
as the game gets a little
Someone
crazier.
brought that up to me, and I'm like, really? I didn't do it once. I went back and like watched the videos.
Yeah,
and
no,
everything.
I'm
It's like-
90% sure
Alright,
it's
yeah.
not unlocked.
Yeah, I'm really sure that it's not.
Yeah, people were like, "Oh, you took that out." Like, no,
Yeah,
we didn't
that's
take it
what-
out.
yeah, that's what
A
it
lot of
sounds
times,
like
if you feel like there's stuff missing, like it was like we talked about the finishers earlier. People
Yeah.
are like, "Oh, it seems like it's the same ones." It's because we only put a few finishers in. There's a bunch more that we didn't. We didn't want the game to show off all the
Alright,
finishers.
I'm gonna do this next because he stinks.
Oh, you're gonna try and beat his score?
Kill it.
Okay.
Get the last
Oh,
one.
I know, I'm kidding.
Oh.
By the way, and you know I'm kidding. Adam was with me the whole week, and he made my life so much easier by doing this.
All right. You know what, guys? I'm gonna call this one here. I mean, we got about another 4 minutes. I don't think there's gonna be anything new. I'm sorry if the back end of this was getting kind of boring. Sorry, I'm tired. I've been going at this for about 2 hours. I hope you enjoyed this little deeper look at Spider-Man. I'm pumped for it. I don't know if I wanted an origin story. I don't know. I would still played it and probably still loved it. But it's cool that we're seeing an older Spider-Man. I mean, you know, all the villains. I mean, I'm stoked that Shocker got announced. I mean, we know about the Sinister Six. We have that mystery. Who's the sixth member? I mean, combat looks awesome. Traversal looks awesome. I mean, all in all, this game looks great. Tell me your favorite things about the trailer or about what we just watched. Tell me if you saw something that maybe I didn't necessarily catch. Anything like that. Anything else? Facebook, Twitter, the website, minds.com. Links, all that stuff is down in the description below. Like, comment, you're not already. Please subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for more next time. Till then, my name's AJ Gales. This is the Gaming Channel. Thanks for watching, everybody. Yeah, I'm out.